Well, welcome. We're going to use one-weighted ball today. So keep that handy. As we move through class, we'll start putting that into play just to add a little bit more resistance, a little more feedback. We're going to start on our back sides. So if you all want to join me on your back, and of course, just face whatever way you want so that you have a good view of where we're moving as a group, and yet it works well in your space. Great. All right. So we're going to start just by lifting our hips and lowering our hips. And I do want you to just take this how you need it to be this morning. So in my back, I don't have issues at this time in my life with osteoporosis. So I'm going to really articulate, but you could keep this a flat back. And all we're doing is kind of giving that little wake-up call to our spine and to the back side of our body. So you could roll through and tip up. Now just remember, we want to think of lifting to those lower ribs. And for those of you with me today that do have osteo, this is not a hard position, meaning we don't have a bunch of weight bearing on this. So to give yourself some articulation here would feel great. And you don't have to worry in this position. We're not doing like feet overhead, for instance, right? And adding additional compression. So don't feel like you have to be the stiff flat back here, right? Let some flow start happening. Now let's take this just a tiny bit slower because we're going to add arms. So as I lift my hips up, I'm going to reach one arm overhead. And then hips and arms come down, other side up. And good. I'm starting to feel the backs of my legs and my buttocks wake up. And I'm just alternating the arm. Now I'm going to look the opposite direction. So I lift an arm and I'm going to look the other way. And then I'm going to lift the other arm and look the other way. Let's do a few more here. Starting to visualize the spiraling effects that are occurring as we bend or rotate rather to one side, right? The twist. Good. Now I'm going to keep going with that same idea, but as I look one way, I'm going to press my hips the opposite way. And then I come back to the middle. I go one arm up, lift the other way, and I press my hips the opposite way of what I'm looking. And back down. Arm up, look, press the hips the opposite way. And back down. One more arm up, look, press the hips the opposite way. Coming to center. And limbs come down. Good. Can we find now just that little rock? So we're just going low abs. Low abs. Good. As you keep tilting, you're aware of how your low back is coming closer to the floor and then away and closer and away. So you feel that idea, right? You would kind of put some pressure on the blueberry and then alleviate it. And put the pressure on the blueberry and alleviate it. But while you're doing that, can you now become really mindful that it's your abdominals that are drawing your spine towards that blueberry and away? And so different than just your buttocks squeezing or just you pressing into your heels. And this is asking a lot. This is a really quite big body-mind connection here. To find that sense that your low abs make that tilt. It probably got smaller, right? If you're really honing in on your abs. So find that connection. And now can you take that into the blueberry and stay? So my abs just drew me in. My butt is quite loose, right? If I kind of tap my cheeks, there's not a lot of tension there right now. But now I'm going to keep that connection there into those low abs and press into the heels, keeping my low abs out, and now lift to those lower ribs. So I want you to stay there. Keep imagining it's like you're zipping up a pair of slats, right? Pulling in that musculature there in your low tummy. I'm shaking a little bit already. Now we're just going to lower the hips a little, pick them up, lower and lift. Now the whole time I'm keeping those lower abs drawn in. Like again, I'm trying to suck in to get on my pair of jeans that I haven't worn in a little while. Pull it in so I don't just let my belly go and focus on my butt. I've got them both going, a little muscular sandwich here, front to back. 3, 2, and 1. And take that spine back down, down, down. Stretch your left leg out straight. Stretch your right arm out straight. Think of reaching to the wall with your hand, and now can you push your heel into the other wall in your room and really reach, 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 reach. Keep fingers through the heel. Keep pushing as if you're pressing into the wall with that heel. Feels really good in my hip. And then draw those limbs in. Let's switch. Reach through the fingers, push through the heel. Don't just flex, actually push like you're trying to kick your heel into your baseboard across the room. Reach, 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 reach. And bring everything back in. Great, now we're going same side. So go left leg, left arm. And don't worry if you turn your back to me, we're gonna go the other way too. Now I'm gonna push into that right foot and I'm gonna press and let my body turn onto its side. And then I'm gonna just roll right back. Switch, right arm, right leg. Push into the left foot. Press, think of your heart leading. Everything else sort of drapes behind. And then rolling onto your back. Switch sides. Here I go, my heart's gonna lead. Ooh, and I just let my head and my right arm come behind me. And then onto my back again. One more switch. And push, chest leads the way. It's very dramatic. And back onto our side. Now what I'd love for you to do is roll onto your side for sideline, but let's face each other. So it doesn't matter to me which side you're on. I'll end up back on my first side here. All right, so if it's comfortable for you, straighten that arm out and put your palm into the floor. And otherwise, you could do the kickstand version where your arm is bent. So legs are straight, and let's make a big effort to make the top leg a little longer. So I'm gonna really reach those top toes, really reach them. And then take that top leg up and down. So think if we were standing in the room, this would be like we're sidestepping. Much different than taking a walk, moving forward, right? This would move us side to side. So this is such a nice plane of movement to work in because our body doesn't get as much of this. Not unless you're out playing pickleball or tennis right now. So we want to think in terms of working in different varieties in space, right? So here's that outer side stepping. Let's keep that leg lifted. So to get there is one thing, to maintain it's something else. Now while we're there, can we make tiny little motions? Right, there's something else altogether. So little motions, probably feeling some heat, yes. Little motions, 3, 2, 1, and just take the leg down slowly. Pick it up slowly. Bring it down. Don't rest it, just slowly lower, slowly lift. Now we'll go rather fast. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 4, 3, 2, hold it again. Hold. Okay, takes different things. And lower it down. Good, bend both of your knees, kind of popping them forward to me. Now we're just gonna open and close. Now, some of us are going to find this harder than others, right? Just nature of our bodies. What I want you to be aware of is this bottom leg staying planted on your mat. So you'll notice when the muscles back here in the bun don't want to lift this leg as far as you'd like, there's that tendency to want to roll back or lift that bottom leg. So I almost want you to push your bottom leg into the mat as you lift this one. And kind of recognize we're back into moving into that same plane, right? We're working on the sides of our being, not the forward movers. Good, last 2. Last 1. Now keep this top leg just like it is, but could you stretch the bottom one out again? So that kind of puts my foot about at my knee. All right, so I'm gonna lift it to the ceiling, flex, so reach through your heel. And pull the heel down into the arch. Point the toe, come up the inseam of your pants. Reach, flex. and pull the heel down into your arch. One more. Point the toes, come up that leg, reach, flex, and down we go. Bend both of your knees and just reach that free arm around you in a big circle. Some of you might notice that just doing that rotation with your knees bent now feels like a really nice stretch to that part of the booty that was working, right? The side of the buttocks. Oh. Oh, I don't think anybody can ever say that pinwheels, these are called pinwheels, oh, ever don't feel good, because my goodness, oh, that rotation feels like $1,000,000. One more round. Open that chest, keep those knees together if you can, and then open and just stay. Go ahead and look at that hand back there. Find that little twist in your trunk. Probably feel a decent stretch in your chest. Take a nice inhale through the nose, keeping it full and slow, and a full and slow exhale to match. And then that arm will come right around. Great. Let's stay facing each other by just flipping our legs to the other side. Oh, notice when you get on that side, it kind of feels good to massage that rear into your mat. All right, so bottom arm again could be straight with your palm down. It just makes it a little more difficult. Or bend it if the flexibility of that arm isn't excited about that. So reaching that top leg a little longer, reach it a little longer. Good, see if you can reach it a little longer. And now start taking it up and down. You know, we're always working for that idea of keeping length there, because we don't want to compress in this hip, like scrunch it all up to lift the leg, right? We're asking it to be nice and long so that we really can hone in on these muscles that would just move us side to side if we were sidestepping. You guys have TheraBands at home. You can wrap those TheraBands, you know, around your ankles, like tie a loop. And then you can walk side to side in your room and get some of this good work here for these balancers, outer buns. Now, when you go up, let's stay. So again, right, we're coming to the same destination, but getting there a lot of different ways. Little pulse, little pulse. Keep reaching long. I don't know about you, but I can feel, oh, it's getting harder, so I want to sort of start gripping here. Keep reaching your toe to the wall. Keep reaching it there. Up we stay. Now we're going to go down really slowly and lift up really slowly. Slowly down, slowly up, slowly down, slowly up. Here we are working on our balance. I know it seems silly because you're laying down. You think, well, that's not working on my balance. Oh, it certainly is. These muscles are what keep you feeling steady on one foot. Part of the program. And then lift that leg up. Now let's go pretty quickly. Up, down, good. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Oh my word. Okay, that's kicking in. 2, 1, we'll stay at the top. Oh, bring it down. Bend those knees out in front of you. Feel free to take a little stretch there if you need it. Okay, so here we go. We want to keep this bottom leg down. Heel the top one open and closed. Good, so you all know by now. My left hip is the one that does not like being as mobile. So it'd be much easier on this side for me to want to innately roll backward or let that leg get lighter, because I'm not going to get as far open on this one as, you know, in my mind, as far as I want to be. Takes like 4 or 5, and then I can finally feel that extra little bit I get there at the end. So just make sure you're continuing to push this leg down. Ooh, that was some work. Last 2. Last 1. Good, straighten the bottom leg.
And here we go, lifting that leg up, reach your heel to the ceiling and down. The heel comes to the arch. Point the toes, slide up that pant leg, and up we go. Heel reaches to the arch. Point your toes, come up the pant leg, and reach through the heel. Down we go. Final one. Reach, toes, heel, and down we go. Bend both knees and go right into your pinwheel.
Oh, notice how that first one back, you're like, oh, that is not just shoulder and chest. It's a nice stretch into those outer hip muscles as well. And you know, make this what you need it to be. So if there's a spot along this path that you just want to pause and stay, by all means, take it. Listen to your body. And then as that arm swoops around behind us, let's look that way and pause here for a nice, slow, full breath in through the nose and a slow, full exhale through the mouth. And coming back to center. Fantastic. Let's prop ourselves up onto this elbow. So I think that's always interesting, pinwheels, when we're doing that. If we hadn't done hip work, you really wouldn't have noticed how far down that's connected. You always think, oh, it's chest and shoulder. But after working those hips, you can feel how it goes way down compared to that. All right, I'm going to scoot up a little bit. I'm at the end of my mat. Okay, so on this elbow we go. It's important that it's under our shoulder. But bend those knees. I now realize I'm black with black on dark gray, so hopefully you can see it okay. All right, upper arm comes up, but this is always an available kickstand. We're gonna lift that hip up and take it down. Up and down. Now what's tricky about this one is you just wanna pull from that hip right up. And what I don't wanna do is, watch here, I don't wanna go away from my elbow and then over my elbow and away from my elbow and over my elbow, right? I want to feel like the space in my armpit stays the same. And I'm just lifting from this waistline underneath me here to get this hip up to the ceiling. So of course our shoulder is going to get tired. There's no doubt about that. But this is a really solid straight tree we have going here. And we're strengthening these shoulder muscles. If you start doing the wonky back and forth like I was doing, your shoulder just gets mad. It doesn't just get tired, it gets mad. Last few. One more. Keep that hip up there. Can you stay with me? Take that top leg out. Arm is up. Good. There's a little star pose. 3, 2, 1. And everything comes down. Go ahead and let that arm come out underneath you and just roll right onto your back. All right, here we go with those opposites. Lift those hips up, and now lengthen opposite arm, opposite leg. Put those limbs back down and roll down through the spine. Just like we did, find your low abs, peel up, opposite arm, opposite leg reaches, limbs come down and roll down. So here we go, up and reach, lower, roll down. Peel up and reach, lower and roll down. Peel up, opposites reach, limbs come down and roll down. One more, peel up, opposites reach, come down and roll down. Now peel up, both arms reach overhead. Circle those arms around to your sides. Let the spine come down at the same time and create a little mini sit-up. Then arms go back, hips go up. Arms circle around, hips come down, mini sit-up. Arms go back, but can you peel up? Low abs, peel you up. Remember, don't just shove your feet into the floor. Arms come around as the spine rolls down. Little mini step. One more. Arms overhead. Peel those spines up. Circle the arms around. The spine comes down. Mini sit up. Stay right here for me. Remember, this is just a float of the chest, not putting that chin in there. Look to your knees. Now reach opposites and put them back. Opposites, put them back. You always could do a head support here. Reach, reach. So I'm just modifying with a little, right? Finding my little head support, thinking opposites. Otherwise, if you don't need it, reach one arm back, keep the other at your side. So please listen to your body. 2 to go. All right, now we go all limbs, everybody. Reach, bring them down. Reach, bring them down. This could be hands behind your head, legs only. You better have those low abs pulled in like you have a little pressure in that blueberry here. 3, 2, last one. Everybody comes down, roll out of the mini sit up. Heel your spine up, reach one arm overhead and look the other way. And do a nice little neck release. And then lower the spine down and that arm. Peel the spine up, reach the other arm, look the other way. Our neck say thank you. And back to center. Awesome. Okay, everyone's hands behind their head. So we're going full support here. And we need it because we're going to push that head down a bit, right? So don't skip that step. Now see if you can just focus on getting your head a little heavier. I just start by pressing my back really strongly and then seeing how much of that I can maintain. So here we go, floating up. All the air comes out. And then lowering down, slow mo. Floating up, there's the shake. And slow to lower down. Exhale coming up. Great, stretch one leg out and bring it back. Other leg out, bring it back. Other leg out, bring it back. So keeping it real small here. When one leg goes out, I want you to turn just your eyes in the other direction and bring it back. Leg goes out, turn your eyes in the other direction. Notice my chest, my upper body isn't moving. I'm just bringing my eyes to the far corner in the opposite direction of the leg. I have lengthened. Opposite side. One more. And lower down, 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 down. Bring one leg to tabletop and then the other. Here we go, float that chest up. Chest is gonna stay center, head is heavy. We're just gonna let one leg stretch out and now they switch. So now we don't have one on the floor, but you certainly could go back to that. You could keep one leg on the floor. Chest is staying center. Can you make your eyes go opposite of the leg now? Opposite of the leg. Opposite of the leg. Now think that through. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center, lower those legs down, and come all the way out. Beautiful. Roll to your side and press yourself up. Well, that certainly got me sweaty. How is everybody feeling? Thumbs up for good, so-so, or okay, good. All right, so legs are over to the side. And you'll notice I kept this hand down because this is my hip that's less excited about this. All right, so I'm gonna start with this hand down. And some of you in the group know, right, that's a better fit for you always. You with me? Give me a thumbs up if you know that that's you. Okay, so as you switch sides, just let that hand stay down if that's what you need to do. And switch sides. Now, if that doesn't feel like a necessity for you, then don't. You don't have to use your hands. right? You can just sit upright and take those hands right off. But there's a lot going on here, folks. This is waist work. It's lumbar mobility. Do you see when I go back like this, there's a little tuck. Just like we were tucking for our bridge, it's the same thing. So for those of you who need a little less of that, that's why I suggest you keep that hand out, and then as you go around, everything's a bit more mild. Okay. Last 4. 3, 2, feels better. And last 1. Take your hands right behind you. And I'm just gonna put my knees over to the other side. Put my knees to the other side. So my feet really stay in the same spot, right? They're just rocking side to side. And again, don't just slide through it mindlessly. Really start to feel like, ooh, where could I use a little more stretch? Where could I take it a little slower to really get into the feeling of it? Not just follow the leader, right? Mandy's going side to side, I go side to side, and we move on. What does this feel like? Could you get that knee to drop to the floor? Ooh, one of them I can, one of them I can't. Could you focus on the leg opening? Can you open that one out all the way to the floor on the side of the leg? We just start gathering some good information here. And then legs will come to center. Good. So if you're okay in your space to face me, let's go ahead and do that. But if it just feels better in your space to turn and look to your side, that's okay. Let's get the weight. All right. So keep in mind, rounded back, flat back, both great options here, okay? Hands will take that ball up in front of us. I'm just reaching long through my toes. So there you can see my toes when I flex. I'm gonna point and stretch through the front of my leg. I'm gonna start going backward. So again, choose rounded back or flat back, depending on your body. Maybe you like to pinch your heels together. Can you squeeze your heels together and get more inner thigh, low abs out of that? All right, one arm takes the ball to the side, and then back to center, and then to the other side. Keep in mind, we're trying to maintain the position we chose, right? You are allowed to change your mind. You're like, oh, that was too far. Well, then come up a little bit, no worries. Now, what I want you to notice is how this is working those crisscross muscles, but not because we're turning, right? It's working them because it's trying to hold us steady. Nice and easy. Just moving the arms as much as you need to feel that stimulation side to side. One more. Come to center. Take one arm up with the weight. And then the other arm up with the weight. I'm really pinching my heels here because I need to really get invested in my inner thighs and low abs. And this part of my leg has not been overdoing it. Not saying it's easy. Going one more each way. Seeing a lot of furry friends making appearances today. And then taking that ball to center. Now watch, I'm gonna keep my weight in my hands. Don't go anywhere, you've gotta stay with me. I can't be doing this by myself. All right, the ball is gonna go into my left hand, and then I'm gonna roll, putting that hand on the ground, a bit onto my left hip. And now I'm gonna roll back and bring the ball to center. If you're on a free weight, it works just as well. Open that out, put the ball on the floor with the weight, roll a bit to that side, rolling back, and as soon as I feel that bun hit, I try to bring the weight back. Bringing that weight over. Roll, can you stack your hips? Can you stack your hips? Woo. Now, as soon as I get that other bun down, I want to try to take the weight off the floor right then. One more time, weight to the floor, stack those hips, roll back. As soon as that bun hits, lift the ball, and coming up. Anybody else getting a little warmth of the neck of your neck. Yeah, so we're gonna just set that right there and go into a wider seated position. This is also where, for me, I love to use my folded hand towel just kind of under my tailbone. Now, if you're tight, like hamstrings, inner thighs, and we're talking, you know, just the way your body functions, this is harder, okay? This is not like, oh, I just have tight hamstrings and I need to work on that. No, 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 no. My hips are made in a way naturally, by God, that this is not my favorite position. It probably never will be. But as soon as I add a little prop like that, it's like, okay, this is far more tolerable, right? You can do a little bend of the knees is another option, and doing both at the same time are great. Okay, but try that prop if you have not. Arms are out to your sides. Now let's flex the feet. So we're not gonna point, we're gonna flex. And I'm gonna rotate now and reach toward that opposite foot with the other arm reaching behind me. And then I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna turn first, and then I'm gonna reach. The back arm reaches behind me. I come up and twist and reach. And I come up and twist and reach. All right, now let's add a little assist. So the arm that goes behind us will come to your mat, and it actually will help push you forward. So use that backhand to press yourself a little further forward. Feels quite good. And then up we come, backhand finds the mat. Let it help push you forward. And back up. Backhand finds the mat. Press yourself forward. And one more time to that left side. Push. I can feel that all the way to those hips we worked originally. And back to center. Much more pleasant now that we've done all that twisting to sit here. Take the weight back into your hands. All right, so I'm gonna keep my lift underneath there. Taking those arms out in front of us. Take your arm out to the side, then overhead. Take your other arm out to the side. And now grab the ball. I know you can't quite see it, but it's there. Grab the ball. All right, take it down and up. Down and up. One more. I keep trying to sit very tall, right from my pelvic floor. Now I'm going to take both arms out. Notice I just shifted the weight into the other hand. And then it goes up. My other arm grabs it, and both will come down. Bring it to the front. So we'll go on the same side now. How's that? We're going to look like opposites, but let's face it, I can't cue the other hand and do it. So right arm for all of us takes the ball out. Overhead. Put it in your left hand. Lower the arms. Bring the arms back together. The weight is in the left hand to open. Overhead. Grab it. Right arm takes it down. Now we're going to keep just shifting it from hand to hand. Switch hands. That work up there is not easy. Can you let your arms just feel like they're flowing, but everything in your trunk has you just so upright? I have a big thick band around the middle of my body holding me up, and my arms are then just playing. How's that for storytelling? One more each way. Last one. And lower the arms down. Shake them out. And now shake your legs. Look, we're being just maniacs, right? Releasing, finding that shake, 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 shake. You're welcome to put your hands back like this if you want to release your arms to the floor. Good. Really push those legs into the floor. Push, push, push behind those knees. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Now can you turn your toes in? I think you can just see mine. And out. In and out. Then I just start doing it super loosey-goosey. So I'm less of a in, out, And again, I think we're back to like the, right, 3-year-old leg flailing. Hey, we all feel like that some days. You don't have to be 3 to feel like you might just have a fit. I think having a fit is part of releasing the stress cycle. If you didn't read the blog yet, read the blog. It is mind-blowingly great. And I say this because all that we featured is based on stuff that Brene Brown thought was mind-blowing great. So if you want to take her level of research and have her say, this is a game changer, probably should listen up. It is good stuff. All right, let's take that ball with us as we get into our backs one more time. Having those little fits, right? That's a good way to get rid of your stress that's trapped in your back. Okay, this weight, and I'm gonna just make an assumption here that you'll find a modifier if needed. The weight is gonna go between the knees. And then I'm gonna take our hands down to our sides, and you can go palms or kind of that karate chop method, whatever works best for you. Oh, this feels so much better than when I laid down the first time. Okay, here we go. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, draw those legs to tabletop. So we're going nice and slow here, everybody. Lower down to barely touch the floor, lifting up. I'm going to lower until I feel those toes touch, and then I'm going to slow-mo lift up. Lower down, lift up. 2 more. Lower down, lifting up. Last one. Lower down, lifting up. Now you can keep going with that, or straighten your legs out, draw them in. Slow-mo. You gotta keep those lower abs on either way. Think of applying just a little bit of tension into that imaginary blueberry in the crease or in the curve of our low back. So you pick toe tap or leg straighten. Either way, when the legs go out, one arm reaches overhead and then bring it back. Other arm reaches overhead, bring it back. Reaches overhead, bring it back. One more. Reaches overhead, bring it back, and lower the legs down. Take the weight free, bring your legs right together. And now we'll let both go to one side, and then both go to the other. So here's where we look at this as, oh, this is not a strengthener. This is a mobilizer, right? I want my lower back and my pelvis to be able to pivot like this. So we strengthen around there to create nice stability when we need stability. And then we work this great range of motion so that we also have great mobility. I mean, goodness, one without the other, well, that would not work out. Now, as the legs go to one side, I'm going to lift my top leg up. And I'm going to stretch that leg out long. And then I'm going to create a huge rainbow. And I'm trying to take as much space up as possible. My other back leg will come with me eventually. And when that leg hits the floor over there, I'm going to lift this one up. And they're both going to make their way to the other side. And I bend my knees. Straighten the top leg. Big rainbow. Big rainbow. Bring the other leg with it. They meet on the other side. And then I just bend my knees. Straighten the top leg. Big rainbow over. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Just move. Think of taking your legs from one side of the room and bringing them to the other. And you just make it as dramatic and theatrical as you would like. One more each way. Ooh. Still so much work and feels so freeing and good. And you're gonna end up rolling all the way onto your stomach. So come all the way onto your stomachs. We're gonna start with just our hands next to our shoulders or ribs, whatever works best. And just find yourself with a wide hand. And we're gonna press into those palms just enough to feel the muscles turn on. Lift that forehead. And now ask your back muscles to draw you up higher. Now I say ask your back muscles because I'm keeping these hands lightly on my mat. I'm not really pushing into them. Even though it looks like I might be using them, I'm not pushing into my arms. I'm just letting my back take me and then lower. Now the back means butt, legs, right? The muscles that run up and down our spine. So remember, it can't just be your back without those things. That's not going to really work out. So think all the way from your arches, up the back of your legs, your glutes and your back, right up to the base of your skull. One more, floating up. Now at this point, go ahead and use your arms as well if you want to find more mobility, right? Our arms are helping us find more of an arch. And now as I come down, I just want to be very aware of where I can stop using my arms to help me so much. And then I let my muscles take me down. So let's let our muscles take us up. We're like, okay, you got me this far, thank you. Now I'm going to use my arms and enjoy a little bit more mobility that I can't achieve just with my muscles lifting me. And now as I lower down, I'm looking for that magical spot again where my hands can really stop helping. And then I'll lower down. One more time. Lifting up. Press to help and just enjoy the stretch. And lowering back down. Great. Take those arms out wider to the sides or all the way overhead, whichever one is most comfortable. Now I'm going to lift one arm and lift the opposite leg. And then switch. Lift an arm, lift the opposite leg. Lift and switch. Lift and switch. Lift and switch. I really want to hone in now to the shoulder blade and the opposite bun. Think of how a sash sits on your body. We're working the line on the back side of the sash now. So think less of your fingers and toes. Think more of your shoulder blade to bun. Shoulder blade to bun. Two more, shoulder blade to bun. Last one, shoulder blade to bun. And lower down. Beautiful. Press into your hands. Why don't you come into a wide knees, child's pose. So it'll be nice. We'll get a little hip out of this as well as spine. We're going to rock our way up to hands and knees. All right, so as we're in this hands and knees position, widen those fingers nicely. And we're just going to simply start with a little rocking forward. So again, we're looking to add some mobility in the wrist joint. Okay? So we're rocking for what serves us best. Fingers are nice and wide. Last 3, 2, and 1. Great. You'll have to take some weight off of them. I want you just to lift the heel of your hand, but keep your 4 fingers. You can't quite keep your whole thumb down, but keep your 4 fingers down and then just lower. So lift the palm and heel, lower. Lift the palm and heel, lower. But take a look. All 4 fingers on each hand stay flat on the mat. Kind of a bit like going into your high-heeled shoes, right? We keep our toes on, we lift to the ball of the foot. Amazing how much tension can be right there, isn't it? Last 4, 3, 2. Now can you keep that part of your hand off and just very slightly rock forward and back? So again, I don't have my palm or the heel of my hand touching. Just rocking, just adding a little bit more stretch there. Anyone notice the color change in their fingers? Just if you have like tension or tightnesses, you'll kind of see where you'll get little white areas or purple areas. Last 2. And then lower the hand down. Slide your hips back and just bring your hands to you. Flip them on over so you're on the top of the hands. And here we do not add much weight, right? We keep it very gentle here. So you just put kind of as much tension into that as you need to for your body. You can feel that right up to clear in the front of my arms. Wiggle those fingers. Wiggle them, wiggle them, wiggle them. And then nice and gently slide one hand free. Slide the other hand free. And give them a nice shake. Isn't it funny how certain parts of us were like, oh yeah, we really need to work mobility on that thing and strength on that thing. Right, our hands, of course, we work on strengthening them all the time. But if these don't stay mobile, that becomes a big problem. Okay, so come on to those hands and knees now. Something tells me this probably feels much different than when we first came here. Tuck your toes under. Okay, now we're going into strengthening those babies. Here we go. Lift your knees 1 inch. Find your little knee hover. And what a difference. I really hope that you can feel that. How much different it feels to keep your weight into your hands right now than when we first lifted. Lower those knees down. Lift them up. Exhale, lift them up. Inhale down, exhale, lift. One more time. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Find plank for me. Lengthen out into your plank position. Now we're going to go hips up and back to plank. Hips up, back to plank. If your mat stretches or moves, you make your adjustments. And back to plank. One more time. Back to plank. Lower the knees and lower all the way down. You're going to bend one knee and then switch and switch and switch. So let's think of this as a little less like a fit and a bit more of using your glutes and the backs of your upper legs to draw the heel to you. Draw the heel to you. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep one there. And can you go ahead and grab it with the same side hand? If you have a band laying around, you can lasso your leg too. We all know that if we were together, there's some of you, I'd be quick, choop, 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 putting that band around your ankle and handing you the other end. Sorry, I can't do that for you today. And then release. Let's grab the other side. Oh, yeah. And go ahead and release. Rest yourself back to that child's pose, reaching your fingertips as far forward as you can, reaching your tail back behind you as far as you can. Find as much length as possible from your fingertips to your tail. Okay, I'm going to ask you to come up onto your feet. Now, you're going to lose me a little bit at the top, but I know we're going to end up back down here, so don't sweat it. So I'm just going to bring myself up onto my feet at this back end of my mat. I can still see all of you. All right, here we go. Inhale your arms up and overhead. And exhale, bring yourself down. You can hinge at the hips or around the spine. Oh, mercy, does that feel good? Walk your hands out to plank. Drop your left knee down and turn open to your right. And here's that star pose again. And then we're going to turn back to plank. Drop your right knee down, turn open to your left. Star pose again. So there's one variety. And back to plank. Hike those hips up. Walk your hands to your feet. Enjoy that hamstring stretch and bring yourself all the way up safely for your body. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring yourself down. Walk out to plank. Remember I told you to drop a knee and turn the other way? Or you keep your legs long, turn to the other direction. There's a bigger star. And then back to plank, either way. And turn, knee down or not. And back to plank. Hike those hips up. And nice and easy, walk your hands back. Take a breath. Oh, stretch that back just by breathing, and all the way up we come. Last time, we'll end on the mat. Inhale, arms up. I see you. And down we go. Walk your hands out to plank. Bend your knees and bring your knees to the mat if needs be. Just drop them lightly or keep them straight or lowering all the way down. Good. I'd love for you to roll onto your backs and go right back into those toe in, toe out, toes in, toes out, and then just let them wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake those legs out. Shake them out. Now reach your right arm overhead and reach through that right heel again, stretching to the edges of the room. Reach through that heel. And then bringing that arm down and release. Reach the left arm overhead and reach through the left heel. Reach, reach, reach. Try to touch that baseboard with your heel. Reach, push into it, push into it. Reach with those fingers. And then lower the arm and release the legs. Go ahead and turn your palms open to the sky. Let your eyes close. We're going to go right into breathing through the nose, filling the belly. Exhale out the mouth, letting that belly fall. Inhale. Exhale. And slow it down. Keep taking that inhale through the nose, slower and slower. And the exhale, passing by the lips, slower and slower. Being aware of the belly rising and falling. Then just bring your awareness to your toes, your feet, your ankles, and letting them just feel heavy. Coming up the legs, the shins, the knees, the thighs. Let them feel heavy. The pelvis, the hips, are heavy to your mat. And feel where your spine is connected to the mat, right up to the back of our heads. Become aware of all of those connecting spots and letting them feel heavier into the mat. Feeling our fingers, hands, arms, and shoulders heavier to the floor. Letting the head sit a little heavier. You can even push the head down into your mat and then relax. Let the space behind the ears soften. Let the space between the eyes soften. And here we lay, fully present, right here, right now. Open to what this day could bring. As we let go of expectations, but leave room for possibilities. When you're ready, go ahead and bend one knee. You can press yourself on over to your side. Taking one more inhale, breathing in through the back. Creating space back there. And exhale out the mouth. You can press yourself up when you're ready. We're always wishing you the best.